Was ganz Interessantes empfohlen worden. Und zwar dieses Video. Besten Fortnite-Spieler von jeder Season.
Hey guys, so for this video, I want to go back in time a little and cover the best Fortnite player from each season. At the time I'm making this video, Season 11 is literally tomorrow. So what better way to say goodbye to this
So, das Video startet etwa hier.
and it's even harder not to put one player for multiple seasons. Still, I'm gonna do my best to choose a different player for each and give.
Also er versucht jetzt in jeder Season einen bestimmten Spieler zu holen. Ich weiß wirklich noch Season 1, ne? Ihr werdet es nicht glauben, war nochmal Season 1 der beste Spieler. Das war so ein Typ mit langen Haaren, Digga. Ich wäre jetzt einfach jetzt gestorben, der Arme. Ohne Witz, der hat einfach aufgehört mit Fortnite oder so. Er hat irgendwie nicht diesen richtigen Durchbruch gehabt, muss ich sagen, der Arme.
Season 1 with a player not many of you know of, Mr. Grims.
Genau, Mr. Grims, Freunde. Er hatte so kranke Gameplays. Er hatte schon 30 Kills gefühlt solo und hier und da. Aber irgendwie kannten ihn nicht so viele. Ich weiß, kennt ihr ihn? Schreibt mal in die Kommentare, ob ihr ihn kennt oder nicht. Aber war Season 1, hatte er die besten Heike-Gameplays und war wirklich seiner Zeit voraus. Aber er hatte irgendwie einfach nicht seinen Durchbruch gehabt.
Grims is a Twitch streamer and YouTuber that absolutely dominated in Fortnite at its infancy. This was way back when nobody knew how to build or edit, and I mean nobody. People played Fortnite like every other battle royale at the time, meaning the skill gap was primarily aiming and positioning.
Er sagte, am Anfang war das Bauen noch nicht so angesagt, ne? Das heißt, das was man brauchte war halt Aiming, also das gute Aimen halt und generell das gute Spielen, so abgesehen vom Bauen, aber er konnte ja glaube ich so relativ gut bauen für seine Zeit, aber halt bei ihm war es ein bisschen Brainplay und richtig viel, wie auch Aim konnte, war eigentlich alles Bombe. Wie gesagt, er hat leider nicht seinen Durchbruch gehalten. Ich meine, wenn man jetzt auf seinen Kanal geht, oh, Mr. Grims, 263.000 Abonnenten, ne? Er hat hier 19.000 Klicks, 14.000 Klicks, das tut schon eigentlich ein bisschen weniger. Ohne Witz. Okay, jetzt hier 71.000.
Those just happen to be the two things Grims excels at. Coming into Fortnite, Grims' overall gun skill and game sense was way ahead of his time. The man was dropping 20 bombs in November of 2017. For some reference, most people
Also er hat wirklich so eine Zeit 20 Bombs auf easy gemacht, wo es wirklich fast keiner geschafft hat. Also nicht mal ich habe da 20 Bombs geschafft.
including me, hadn't even started playing yet. Meanwhile, Grims was out there wiping squads and putting on an absolute clinic. Unfortunately though,
Krass.
Grims was never that big of a fan of building, and he
Ja, Renegade Raider war das gerade.
really disliked all the bugs in the game. As time progressed, he eventually stopped playing completely, only returning once every few months to check in. Still,
Nein, Digga, oh nein, er hat aufgehört, ne, mit dem Game, weil ihn das so aufgeregt hat, dass man nicht so, dass man bugs, also das Game hatte Bugs, wie ihr sehen könnt, er hat Mets, aber kannst du die Treppe nicht bauen. Das hat ihn aufgeregt, dann hat er aufgehört und ist dann irgendwie wiedergekommen, aber Digga, dann war es schon vorbei mit ihm, Digga, Krise, echt Krise.
game. As
Guck mal
time
hier.
progressed, he eventually stopped playing completely, only returning once every few months to check in. Still, his dominance during Season 1 will never be forgotten. Moving on to Season 2, and I think we can all agree who the best player was. TSM Myth.
Der Myth war damals bei Season 2 echt, Digga, eine Maschine, aber er hat auch irgendwie so untergegangen irgendwie, ich weiß auch gar nicht warum.
Myth was another player that was truly ahead of his time. Rather than relying on his raw aim and
Ich glaube, das liegt einfach daran, ich glaube, die Leute haben einfach zu sehr auf so ihren Skill gesetzt, aber Entertainer-technisch, moin, so, vielleicht waren das so Roboter-Entertainer-technisch und das hat dann irgendwann nicht mehr gejuckt, so, weil das ist auch wichtig, dass du einfach gut unterhältst, unabhängig von deinem Skill. Und ich glaube, deswegen kamen halt neue Leute, die halt so ein bisschen besser waren, aber die waren halt dann einfach keine guten Entertainer und dann hat sich doch in dem Sinne dann keiner mehr so für die gejuckt, kann man so sagen.
gun skill, Myth started to master building and editing before it became the norm. This was around the time when the average Season 2 player was just beginning to build walls and ramps for protection. Myth, on the other hand, was using his build strategically, getting high ground over
Das Aim war ja Krise, ne? Aber er konnte echt damals echt gut bauen, Digga, ohne Witz. Also er war seiner Zeit voraus.
people, making smart edits, and outplaying people without even shooting at them. Fundamental techniques like ramp rushes and scissor ramps that we all take for granted, Myth actually invented. Maybe his most infamous strategy though was just sitting and camping in a 1x1. This passive playstyle
Ah, okay, nicht schlecht.
allowed him to consistently win solo games and hold the #1 spot on the leaderboard for wins. Myth did
Er war sogar die Nummer 1 mit den meisten Wins. Der Rangliste, nicht schlecht.
He'd try his hand at competitive in later seasons, but he slowly gravitated towards focusing on content. Regardless, Myth will always be known as a pioneer of building and for helping to establish the competitive Fortnite scene. Next up is Ninja, who I think deserves the title of Best Fortnite Player in Season 3. Ninja
Ja, safe. Also Ninja war damals auch echt eine Maschine. Bei ihm habe ich auch das Gefühl, dass er sich einfach gar nicht mehr auch erstmal weiterentwickelt hat. Aber er muss schon sagen, er hat damals echt ja so Tilted, Digga, komplett eine 30er gemacht. Das hat mich auch voll motiviert. Direkt auch Tilted eine 30er gemacht. Also seine Tilted-Starter waren auch schon krass, Digga, wenn er mal da gelandet ist. Das ist krass.
was one of the first players to have the full package in terms of skill. His aim was top tier, his building was amazing at the time, and he was incredibly smart in game. What really set him apart though was his ability to slay out and drop high kill games with ease. I kid you not, he would push everyone he saw and would win every single fight he got into. This is a big reason he got so big on Twitch.
223er Headshot war das
Simply
gerade?
put, he did not need to sit in a tower like Myth did to farm wins. He was good enough to play aggressive and still come out on top. The craziest part is that Ninja continues to be a top player to this day. Yeah, he doesn't focus on competitive, but he was 2 points off qualifying for the World Cup. And I guarantee if he put the time in to practice and to play competitively, he could easily be the best player in the world. Now, Season 4 is where it starts to get a little harder to choose the best player. In my opinion though, it goes to another TSM member, Hamlin's. Reason being is Hamlin's mechanics were bar none at the time, except for maybe Mongrel, but we're saving him for later. Season 4 was when people started to focus more on the speed and quickness of their builds. As a result, build battles became popular and the meta.
Oh, er kann schon echt gut bauen für Season 4, Digga.
Hamlin's was one of the fastest and smoothest builders during this time, so for obvious reasons, he excelled. On top of that, Season 4 was also when double pumping was a thing, and Hamlin's was by far one of the best double pumpers around. Those two skills combined made Hamlin's one of the scariest players to fight against, and helped him win solo scrims against other pros like Jaumak, Chap, and Myth. So even though Hamlin's fell to the content creating dark side, I cannot think of a more talented and skilled player back in Season 4. Halfway through, and Season 5 is another difficult choice. But for the sake of having a different best player each season, my choice is Ghost Bizzle. When it comes
Ghost Bizzle, ja, von denen habe ich auch gehört, dass er ganz, ganz krass viele Earnings haben soll. Also wirklich ganz, ganz viel.
to competitive Fortnite, Bizzle is one of the all-time greats. He found a ton of success during the summer skirmish, which of course took place in Season 5. During those 10 weeks, Bizzle was extremely consistent and placed second in 3 of them.
Bisher sind alles Maus- und Tastaturspieler, ne? Noch kein Controllerspieler überhaupt gesehen.
One of them happened to be the first ever Epic sponsored LAN event, PAX West, where Bizzle won $180,000.
Da waren wir $180.000 da gewonnen. Heiliger Hase.
That launched him up the ranks and made him the highest earning pro Fortnite player at the time. The main reason I think he was the best during that time though was because this was the first real test for competitive players. No longer was skill based on pub stomping or speculation. It all came down to who could perform the best in tournaments, and Bizzle undoubtedly did that. So, while he hasn't made too much noise recently, his game sense alone will help him stay at the top for years to come. On to Season 6, and you're probably wondering, where the hell is Tfue? Well, here he is. Tfue.
So, Season 6, Tfue. Er war schon meiner Meinung nach immer so ein richtig kranker Spieler. Auch schon damals habe ich voll viele Sachen von ihm gelernt, wie zum Beispiel, dass man mit der Pyramide und das bei Tilted außerhalb des Gebäudes geplaced hat, dass man so ins Gebäude reingeht. Das sind so Sachen, die hat er schon gefühlt erfunden. War auch immer seiner Zeit voraus. Das hat Typ auf jeden Fall.
In many people's minds is the one true GOAT. He's been a top player since the beginning of the game, and was the first person to truly outplay Ninja back in Season 3. However, the fall skirmish in Season 6 was when we really saw Tfue's full potential. Tfue won the Week 2 and Week 4 solo
Das Skirmish sogar noch gewonnen, Digga. Der Typ ist einfach eine Maschine.
competitions, which were arguably the two hardest
Also eine Woche hat er da gewonnen.
solo tournaments back then. On top of that, Tfue and Cloxy won the Week 6 LAN event at Twitch.
Und hier, Digga, das war krank, Digga. Da haben er und sein Mate komplett zerstört, Digga. Also komplett.
And brought
Und so viel Cash verdient.
home over $500,000.
Eine halbe
That
Million, Digga. Eine halbe Million, Brudi, was los?
kind of consistency in solos, duos, online, and on LAN is ridiculous for any game,
Oh, was
let
für ein Aim
alone
auch.
Fortnite. So it's hard to deny how good he is when he's on his A game. To this day, Tfue remains a top competitor and puts up a strong argument for the best player of all time. Season 7 is a toss-up between Zexro and Mr. Savage, but since I haven't been fair to my EU brethren, let's focus on Mr. Savage. Season 7 Mr. Savage was before he used a face cam and before he was actually allowed to
Mr. Savage, okay? Ich hätte jetzt erwartet, dass so Mitro oder so kommt, weil Mitro hat doch auch immer so richtig krank rasiert.
play in epic tournaments. Since he was only 14, he couldn't get invited to events. The only thing he could compete in was the Open qualifiers. In the Winter Royale Open qualifier, Savage placed second in the hardest region in the world, and in the EU Pop-Up Cups, he consistently placed at the top, including when he set the record for the most points in a solo Pop-Up Cup. Savage's success came from a
was für ein heftiger
combination
Edit.
of his insanely fast mechanics and his ability to consistently outplay
Savage spielt schon echt krank.
people. Every game I watched him play in seemed like a highlight reel because of how smart and 200 IQ he was. Luckily for Savage, the age restriction on competitive Fortnite was lifted months later, and he has since gone on to win nearly $200,000 in prize money. For Season 8, I'm gonna have
$200.000 Cash hat er schon verdient. Not bad, Alter.
to go with Misfits Clicks.
Okay, kenne ich gar nicht. Misfits
Clicks
Clicks?
was pretty much a nobody at the beginning of Season 8. He was signed by Misfits, but nobody really knew a lot about him. That was until the World Cup qualifiers came around, where Clicks qualified for the World Cup 5 separate times, including 3 times for solos and 2 times for duos. The reason I think he was so good was because
Dass sich 5-mal für das World Cup qualifiziert, meine Güte.
of how far ahead he was of the meta. Clicks knew how important box fighting and turtling was becoming, so Clicks went out and focused on W-Keying and
Heftig, also Clicks hat sich dann darauf fokussiert, diese Boxfights zu perfektionieren. Diese Boxfights sind halt wirklich übertrieben wichtig, bis heute noch eigentlich.
box fighting. When you give zero ping to the best box fighter in the world and put him up against players who are not used to getting W-keyed, well, Season 8 Clicks is what you get. Moving on to more recent times, and there's a clear winner for Season 9, Sen Bugha. Bugha
Ja, man muss sagen, kann sagen, was man will, Digga. Bugha. World Cup Maschine,
flew
Digga.
under most people's
Er war so gut, ne, beim World Cup. Ich habe mir das da reingezogen. Der war ja mit Abstand der Beste.
radars for a majority of Season 9. We got a little glimpse of his true potential after he placed first in the first week of the World Cup qualifiers. Still though,
Dang.
most people labeled him as a zero ping warrior and thought he'd choke on LAN. Bugha, like the animal he is, actually did the opposite and won the solo World Cup by 26 points.
Krass.
He nearly doubled second place in points in the most stacked and competitive event ever. That World Cup win
3 Millionen hat er gewonnen. 3 Millionen.
netted him $3 million and made him the highest earning Fortnite player in the world. If somehow that's not enough to sell you on how good he is, just go and watch the kid. He's easily one of the fastest builders and editors in the world. In my
Digga, er spielt ja wirklich richtig krank.
mind, there's absolutely nobody you can put over him for Season 9. Season 10 though, there's one player who I've been purposely leaving out until now. FaZe Mongrel.
Okay, ich habe mir auch gedacht, wann kommt Mongrel? Er hätte auch gefühlt in jeder Season vorkommen können, weil der Typ einfach nur Maschine ist. Kann man sagen, was man will.
Mongrel is another contender for the
Aber dass er ihn für die Season 10 nimmt, okay, interessant.
best player of all time. He's got aimbot-like aim, his
Oh.
building and editing are faster than any creative warriors, and he is always performing well in tournaments. We saw
Wow.
that especially in Season X with the Fortnite Championship Series. Mongrel's trio won 3
Stompy gerade geholt.
weeks, placed second in another 2 weeks, and won 2 cash cups as well. They didn't do too well in the finals, but to most people, Mongrel and his trio were the scariest to face. So as long as Mongrel keeps grinding and putting in as many hours as he does, I honestly think he will be the greatest Fortnite player ever. Overall, those were who I think are the best players from each season. Remember boys, this was made for entertainment purposes. I didn't want to put Mongrel as the best player for like 6 seasons in a row.
Digga, seine Clips und Mongrel sind ja wirklich krass.
So I tried to do a different player for each. Please, don't roast me too hard. But if you enjoyed the video,
Warte, er hat das Season 11 vergessen, warte. Ich mach das mal für ihn weiter. Yeah, on Season 11, you know who the best player in the world is? Right now, it's ApoRed, aka Red Summer. I mean, look how he plays, look how he took the wall. Oh my god, look at that aim. I think he has like the best aim in the world and maybe the best building in the world, and I think he has the whole package, and yeah, he's actually the best earning player. He earned about $10 million Fortnite. I mean, look at this, look, he W keyed the enemy. Oh my god, like he's like hacking. Oh my god, every shot is on, my friends. Okay, Freunde, das war das Video. Haut rein, bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.